So welcome to Rob's Fix-A-Chop Kitchen Edition. I've got this GE stove and it's not working. So you tell it to go on and it never goes on. And this is something it's happened to me before with this stove. And it's the igniter that ignites the gas is bad. So that's almost always what it is. And I've had this for 25 years and this is the third one I'm going to be replacing. So I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. It's a pretty simple fix and pretty inexpensive. So if you're interested, hang on and enjoy the ride. Okay, so the first thing, obviously, we got to clear all this junk out of here. And then, I'm going to pull this out. It's always a fun adventure to find things that you forgot where they went. Okay, first thing we want to do is we have to take this plate off, and there's just a screw right here holding it. So we're going to pull that out, and then that just slides out. And here we see our old igniter. It looks a little rough, but we have to so we have to get this out so we can get this off. And I'm going to show you in here. It's a little bit tricky. There's a, see if you can see it. So right down here, there's a pin that's got a little sleeve on it, and you need to pull that pin upwards, and then you see the slot gets a little bit bigger, and then that will come out. And so we'll see it once I get it out, but it's a little bit tricky to see back here. And but the first thing is we need to take this screw out right here, and then I'll show you how to get that other thing out. Many of them, I mean, some of the videos I've seen on other people doing it, there's screws at the bottom that hold that whole thing in. But on this one, it's just that pin holds it in back, and this screw holds it in front. So let's get this screw out here in front, and then I'll show how to get that other thing out. Okay. Take this out. And then we have to pull this thing up so that pin comes up. And this is going to kind of hold it from coming up, so we want to kind of lift this up. And then lift this up, and then that little pin will come out, and then we can come on. There we go. All right, so we got that out. And so let me take these screws out of here, and then I can show you that pin a little bit better. Okay, so there's that pin. You can see it's got kind of a detent in like that, and that that bracket down there fits into here, so we have to slide it up and then out. Let's take a closer look at that. So right there you see how it's bigger at the top than on the bottom. That's what we have to get it back into, and then slide it down through that sleeve. So it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so here's our old one and here's our new one. One of our connectors is right. This one here. But this one I have to wire nut onto here, which I'll do. But let's just check I mean, if we had wanted, we could have gone underneath and just checked the resistance of this guy to see if it's burned out or not. So let's just look at it now, and so we can get a baseline for that. So on the new one, we have about 236 ohms, 240. And on the old one, right, we've got nothing on the old one. So the old one's completely open. Right, so we could have tested it ahead of time, but we didn't. We just assumed this was a problem, and that's what it was. So then our new one comes with these wire nuts, right? And so we have to connect this guy. Like that, to here. Just kind of make sure they're the same length. Okay, so there we got that in there. Got another connector. I'm going to connect that to there. The other one. Okay, now we want to feed these IC here. And we'll get that close. And here you can see where that fits onto that little nozzle right there. Right, and so we're just going to kind of get that started. It looks like we're not going to be long enough here, so I'm going to have to wire nut that other piece on there. Okay, well, I'll be back. Okay, so we've connected up our connector right here and then our connector right here. I've got the 2 wire nuts on, and I just have this kind of in place but not on completely. And so we're looking good down here. So let's kind of come up a little bit. Okay, now the tricky part. Okay, now we're in down at the bottom, and we've got to get that pin. This has got to come up. We're going to get that pin in there. Now we got to kind of pull up on this so that we can get that pin in there. Come on. Get in there. Yep, there it went in. And I'll just check underneath. Yep, we're on our connector down there, and I think we're good there. Okay, so now we just have to get this guy back in, and we'll be cooking. All right, let's see if it works. You should see that heat up. There it goes. Then when that heats up, the gas should turn on. Nice. And that's how it works. Now we just have to reassemble it, and we're good. One little note is I did take the door off. I mean, I just slipped it off. and that just makes it easier to work. But you don't, there's no need to, you don't have to do that. Well, thanks for coming along as I fix my oven. It's a pretty easy repair once you kind of know how to get that burner tube out. I know in the past I've spent too much time taking apart more than I had to, so it's worth knowing a little tricks to get that thing out. In other ones, they're screwed at the bottom, and you have to take a couple screws out from the bottom, and then it kind of lifts out. But you'll have to see for your own oven. If you got one like this, well, now you know how to do it. So I don't know. It was a pretty easy fix, very inexpensive, about 28 bucks for that burner, and they usually last about 8 years. So I'm good for a while. So anyways, if you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe, and thanks for coming along.